Are you ready to stop searching outside yourself and deepen the connection that matters the most?
Welcome to the Sacred Exchange podcast. We are your hosts, John and Catherine Graham.
After years of navigating our own spiritual paths, we have learned that true transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the honest and vulnerable moments when we are willing to journey within with a curious mind and heart.
Every week, we invite you to journey with us as we share our spiritual ahas, our raw truth, and deepen our understanding of the human experience.
This is a space of vulnerability and healing, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Exchange, where today we're going to talk about faith and what that looks like. What does that mean, and why it's important to have faith?
Well, I think especially right now in these times, it's always important to have faith.
Yeah.
Right? But I think in times like we're experiencing now, and everybody seems to be on the same journey or very close, is just to remember your faith, and especially in these hard times and whatnot. Yeah. And I know that everybody's got different ideas of what faith means, but it really just, whatever that is to you, is, remember that and kind of stick to it.
Well, and I think throughout time, or at least from like the time of my childhood into my adulthood now, what I've witnessed in society is a lessening of faith. That where when I was a child, it was almost like every good family went to church on Sundays and they had like a practiced religion and whatnot. But there's been so much trauma that has happened within a lot of those settings, and a lot of shame giving that has happened within those settings. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that I know of, they refuse to have a relationship with God. Perhaps they'll call it the universe instead, or they'll call it source energy or whatever. And some people are even like beyond that, where they don't have a belief in anything at this point, because life has been what life has been. And while I don't believe anyone should have anything forced down their throats, so I know that's how it was kind of back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's almost like we've gone to the opposite side of the pendulum swing, and everybody's kind of out there on their own trying to figure it out. But this idea of faith has kind of disappeared.
Well, and I think we should separate religion and faith.
Absolutely.
Because, as soon as we hear faith, that's the first thing people think of is religion, right? Oh, well, what is your faith? Well, my faith is I believe, mm-hmm. right? I believe, that there is a path, there is a journey. Do I believe there is a person or a thing or this or that? There's plenty of different things and plenty of different people. So, I think it's important that people separate the two.
Yeah.
And really look at them in a different light. And when in my thoughts about staying in your faith in hard times and whatnot is just the things that you believe in, stay firm in those, and that today is just today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is another day, and these things that are happening aren't happening to us. Yes, we're participants in them.
Yeah.
But it's not personal. It's not, life is happening to me. And I know we've talked about this and was a little hesitant about, kind of doing this topic, because I feel we've done it a lot. But you brought up a good point, was, we got to keep running the same play. But,
yeah.
And you see it all around the world, where it's like, okay, we all just need to believe in something. And I don't think it's such a bad thing that everybody is doing something different.
Yep.
And they're personalizing their faith. I think it is good.
Absolutely. And actually, as you're talking, and even the idea that we both had this kind of fear that came up this morning of like, okay, we've already done this topic. Like, we shouldn't be talking the same thing over and over again. But isn't that exactly what faith is? Right? It's running that same play over and over again, and life happens, it shows up in whatever ways. And the kind of visual I get when I think of that is like standing in the middle of a thunderstorm, and you've got this wind kind of lashing at you, and maybe there's trees and branches flying at you and stuff, but you just keep stepping forward because there's a destination that you're like, this is what I'm going to reach,
Mm-hmm.
And that is ultimately what that faith piece is. It's like, yeah, it's going to be hard. And it's one of the things that I've been hearing a lot is people thinking, when do I catch my break? When do I get it to be easy? And it's like, well, it's not easy for anybody, but how we respond to it does take a lot of that kind of hardness away from it, or that challenge away from it. Because I don't think anything that shows up, just like you were saying, is a personal attack on us. But we can tell ourselves that it is. And that's the power of our mind, right? If I go, this is a personal attack on me, I just made it a personal attack on me. But if I'm like, oh, life is just showing up this way right now, that's interesting. How am I going to get through it? I'm no longer making it personal. I'm seeing it as a challenge to strengthen myself where I might have had some weaknesses in the past.
Yeah, I think more and more when I hear people struggling and people that are going through different things, it's they don't really look at the benefit of some of these things. It's not, these things are just happening. It's not, again, not a personal attack.
Yeah.
And I understand it is absolutely very, very difficult to stay in that faith mode, right? Like to be like, okay, this is just happening.
Yeah.
It will pass.
Yeah.
It will be okay. And even if the worst thing ever happens, it still will be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's what the worst thing that we can think of is you die.
Yeah.
Which I always find this very interesting is we hear about life on the afterlife being so great, and heaven is this great place, but everybody's so afraid to be there or go there.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I bring it down even further into that fear of like actually dying and getting there. Right now, my big belief system is that as humans, we're here to embody heaven on earth, right? And so if we're all afraid of actually stepping into heaven, then we're all actually resisting bringing heaven to earth, right? Because what part of me needs to die off in order to embody heaven on earth? Well, everything that's separated from heaven needs to die off, which then goes into that fear of death. And we talk about it like the end of the physical carnation. But it's like, what about the end of the parts of yourself that you've identified with, right?
Yeah.
And that's the other part of faith that people don't necessarily understand, is that faith doesn't mean everything's just working out.
No.
It hasn't meant that at all.
No.
Throughout all of history, faith has never meant that. But what faith to me, for myself anyways, has shown me is that whatever I am needed to become, I'm going to be able to become it. And it's going to be painful, or it has the possibility of being painful. And that possibility of it being painful is only going to be measured by my resistance to what I'm willing to allow myself to let go of, or what I'm willing to embody more of within myself. When I was walking the Camino, and the very first day, and you're going up your very first mountain, and I've never climbed a mountain before in my life. I had an idea of what climbing a mountain might be like based on the hills we have in Canada. It was not the same as that.
A hill's a hill, a mountain's a mountain. Yeah.
Yes. And it was so bloody challenging. But I was like, this is what I signed up for. And I got to my first destination. The second day, it was that much more challenging because then we had the wind working against us. And it was a really high wind day. I think it was like 113 kilometers an hour gusts. Like, it was bad. But within that first 2 weeks, because it's all the physical challenge, you're climbing all these mountains up and down, whatever. And I found myself getting angry that these mountains existed, where it was like, why didn't they just make a flat path through this mountain or whatever? And then I realized the kind of hilarity of that, to think like, who do I think I am? That as I'm on this pilgrimage through mountainous Spain, that there should be no mountains because I don't like climbing them.
Yeah.
Right? And by the time we got into like the Meseta, there's one mountain that kind of appears out of nowhere. And by the time I got there, I could actually climb the mountain easily. I had built strength. And so I could look at all of the other past mountains and go, I've already done this, so I shouldn't have to do it again. But actually, I had already done it, so I actually built strength to be able to climb mountains at that point. And I think when we think of faith and we think of, why am I doing this, or why does it have to keep being hard and stuff, we never look at what strength am I building right now.
Yeah.
Right? Until perhaps it's years later where it's like, oh, now this is easy to me. But we forget how hard it was at the beginning.
Yeah, I think we do forget when we're in those times, or in times of struggle, that there is more. We very get locked into this ego piece of, this is happening to me, this is bad, I'm never getting out, I'm gonna die, I'm broke, I'm this, I'm that. But if we just took a moment to stop and go, okay, this is where this is right now.
Yeah.
I'm here. And we've had this conversation. You could be a chair.
Yeah.
You could be a cup, but you're not. You're embodied as this avatar that you are in.
Yeah.
So there's purpose. And if your purpose ends wherever that ends, then that was your purpose.
Yeah.
That was your journey.
Yep.
Have faith that they're in that. That was your journey here. Your journey doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to this. There's more to this energy that we embody.
Yeah.
So we just need to stop in those moments. Remember, we are just that micro organism that is rolling around in this universe, right?
Yeah.
And we will transcend this.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, these are just little things.
Yeah.
And sometimes what we do need to do as well is look at, like you were saying, about these lessons within these moments. I know you and I go through when it's like, did we create this? Did I do this? Did we look for that? Or
how am I contributing to it? Yeah.
Was there a subset of events that happened that I contributed to this or what? And I think those are all healthy things. I think we're not blaming ourselves.
Yeah.
But we're just kind of looking for that journey, looking for that path, and bringing our faith along with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just going to kind of trace back to what you just said there, where it's like, we're like this microscopic thing in this vast universe. And also on the other side of that, we are an absolute divine being that cannot actually be affected by any of the illusionary stuff that shows up here. And so it's like, it's not this or that, it's this and that. And to remember both in those times of struggle, that yes, this is just a small blip and it feels like it's my entire universe, because in my lens, I am the center of my universe. So when this happens, right, I'm just a microscopic piece of this entire universe. Yep. And also, I am a divine being that I can overcome whatever any of this is that's coming in my way.
Well, and I think that's kind of what I'm saying is, really sink into your faith, where it's like, okay, this all is happening.
Yep.
But I don't have to participate.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is such a key piece. I don't have to participate. I've had that come up so much this week, where I've really felt embodied in my sovereignty, and I've had things that have shown up in my realm that it's like, oh, an old version of me really would have dove into that and really participated in it, but I'm actually just going to stay sovereign. And people have said things, or I've been in conversations with people that I could feel like, oh, this is a really heavy topic. And instead of losing myself in the topic or feeling like energetically overwhelmed or anything like that. It was like, I'm just going to stay in my sovereignty. And then it became a choice.
Yeah.
Where I think an old version of me used to feel like I was at the effect of everything outside of me that was happening. But when you find that sovereignty within yourself and you get to ask yourself, is this what I want to participate in? Or if this is something that's coming into my field, I already know I have to participate I need to participate with it in some way.
Yeah.
In what way do I choose to participate? Can I be this loving force even though everyone else is in chaos? Can I be the one who holds on to faith even though everybody's letting go of it?
Mm-hmm.
And to choose to, I guess, be that leader no matter what that circumstance is that's showing up.
Yeah, it's the observer, right? It's like you can be the observer, full of love the experience, but you don't have to take any of that stuff with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to have to be a participant to be an observer.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds interesting because it's like, oh, well, to observe, you have to participate. No, what I'm saying is you can be in conversation.
Yeah.
And you can do the things and whatnot, but you don't have to fully engross yourself and get upset about the same whatever situation or scenario that somebody's trying to, I always call it baiting you into.
Yeah.
You can just watch it and go, okay, yeah, no, I understand you're upset about this, and I understand, yes, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
don't
can
have to be
acknowledge
like, yeah, we should go and do this or blah, 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 right?
Well, it's so interesting because I think as humans, we've learned to bond with each other by having like common enemies, right? And so this idea of baiting, what they're looking for is connection.
Yeah.
And they want you to drop into whatever that level is with them. But it's like if you're in an energy of hate and you hate that you're in this hate and you want to be in love, but you're kind of fighting against what is happening because you don't like it or whatever, and then you try and get me to hate it with as much force as what you're hating it, all we're actually doing is creating more hate, and neither of us are stepping towards love. Yeah. And it's wild. I know I've done it myself with people where it's like, no, I need you to be as mad about this as what I am right now. Why we do that, I don't really understand. Maybe it is just connection, but... Well,
it is, and I was just thinking why that is. You're right. You want connection, but you want somebody to resonate at the same level as you, right? At the same frequency.
Yeah.
And I've done this, and it wasn't until now, just thinking about this, I should actually do this a little more, is I know that there's been times that I've not, I won't say lower myself to a certain frequency or raised it up, but like I've lined people in that frequency, but then kind of changed the narrative, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, you're mad. I get it. You're mad, and I'll meet them in that same. Yeah, let's be mad. Yeah. But what about this?
Yeah.
And just try to like, okay, now that I've met you here, can we like change where we're at together?
As you're saying that, I'm like, you've actually done that with me for sure. 100%. I can recognize the look on your face of like, yeah, okay, let's get mad then. But what are we going to use this mad for?
What are we going to do with it?
It's like direct the energy in a way that's going to be positive for you, where I think a lot of us, when we do have anger come up, we accidentally start destroying the very things that we're trying to work towards. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like we might have this thing that shows up and we're so angry about it, and then we're like, fine, I'm not going to do this plan next Saturday, and I'm not going to show up in my work, and I'm not going to release the book or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like you're just destroying all of the things that you say that you want because this little blip is happening right now. And this is, again, where that faith piece comes in, where it's like, how can you channel that energy? If you need to be mad, but how are you going to channel it?
Yeah. You can be mad at whatever the situation is, which is fine.
Yeah.
Just know that there's more to that. And and we've talked about this too, is like, why are you mad? Why? Yeah. Right? Like, search out as to what it really is that is causing this anger within you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I do think people want you to meet them where they're at, that frequency. But more and more, and like I said, I never really put much to it till just now. It's like, yeah, I know I've done this before. And I know it's easy to get lost in that, okay, I'll meet you at the frequency and then you stay in that frequency as well.
Well, and
where
that's...
It's kind of a slippery slope, right? It's, you meet them at a frequency, you got to just keep that faith and remember, okay, I'm meeting you here. We're not staying here, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to meet here so we can speak the same language, and then we're going to move on, and we're going to trace what is this? What is this all about?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because I've definitely practiced that with people, and sometimes I accidentally just step into whatever mucky shit is there, and I'm like, okay, and I'm here now.
Whoops, how did this happen?
Yes, exactly. And then there's other times where it's like you step into it with hopes of, I'm going to pull you out of this, but then they have so much resistance to actually stepping out of it. And I know we went through an experience, I'm going to say about 2-ish weeks ago, where I had a lot of mucky stuff that was coming up, and it was interesting because I could feel myself resisting what else I knew to be true. So it's like I was aware of, this is the muck, and I have the higher part of me that's going, we don't have to be in the muck, like we can just observe it. And then this part of me that's like, no, actually I'm just going to go into the muck. I'm going to choose the muck. I'm going to sit in the muck. I'm going to cry that I'm in the muck. And I know I could just step out of it, but I'm just going to bathe in it.
But there's a lot of people that don't have that awareness, right?
Yes.
And it is a great thing to have that awareness that, no, I'm just going to be angry, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. I know I can choose differently, and I know there's a higher road, and I know there's a better way to deal with this. But for now, I'm going to give this energy here.
Yeah.
And
to know that, again, it was a choice, right? Where I think a lot of people get...
Well, I think that's the big difference, is there is a choice, right? And you have that awareness.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people don't. It's just, I'm mad because I'm mad, and that's it. They don't see that there's a difference, that they're choosing to be mad.
Yeah.
Half the time, we're making ourselves mad.
I know. Well, that's where I go. Like, I literally put myself in the muck and was complaining about being in the muck, that I, self-created the muck, stepped into the muck, and then sat in the muck and went, I'm complaining now because I'm in this muck that I've created for myself. And I always try and bring truth to these kind of situations that we go through as humans. I feel like I'm not the only person who does this. But to have the awareness of it and still not be able to choose differently, right? The following day I was able to bring voice to it all and whatnot. But in that moment, it was like, I just don't want to choose the right path. I know I just don't want to. I was resisting it big time.
But again, I think as we practice that faith piece, and we've experienced this with other things, it gets better, it gets quicker.
Yeah.
As you practice it. So you have an awareness.
Yeah.
You had this moment.
Yeah.
And it dissolved fairly quickly. It's just, that's going to speed up. Unfortunately, here's the thing, folks. The more things that we're challenged with, the better you get at it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's really unfortunate because, there's a lot of things we don't like to do.
Yeah.
Right? We don't like to be in hardship. We don't like to, do chores, this. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. The more efficient you're at. The more efficient you are transcending all of these little bits and all these feelings and all of this pain. You transcend it that much faster when you're in that experience.
Yeah.
If you choose to. If you have the faith, if you can see past it and see that this is just this.
Yeah.
But you can easily just get stuck in the muck.
Yeah.
And stay in the muck.
It's interesting because I was just given the visual of if I was on a diet and I was going to the gym every day and I was, really doing this healthy, clean eating thing. And then the muck that I got into last week where it's like, I know I'm choosing this, would be like me going, I'm going to make the most chocolatey cake that I could ever possibly make. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat the entire cake. Even though there's all this part of me that's like, I have been devoted to going to the gym, to dieting, to walking, to drinking clean water, to taking my vitamins and all of that. And also, I'm choosing the chocolate cake. Do you know what I mean? Which might quote unquote destroy all of my efforts. But it's like, as long as you don't keep eating cake every single day, you know, this little blip is not going to destroy everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to give yourself grace, I think, too, is another kind of key piece.
Yeah, well, and that's why, you know, we've had some situations come up, and I call it, again, practicing these things, right?
Yeah.
Very much about that. And that was, we had a discussion earlier this week about that. It was about, that's why I call it practice.
Yeah.
Because you have that grace, that ability to be like, I can be wrong, and it is okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not like, oh, I did this, because if I did this, it's done, that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Nothing is ever perfect, right? Nothing's ever final.
Yeah.
So to say, okay, I'm practicing this faith, or I'm practicing being a good person,
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm always going to get it right. And you have that grace. It's like you have that loophole.
Yeah.
To not be good at some point in time. I'm not saying, I'm not advocating that you should. I'm just saying you're not so hard on yourself when you do, you know, don't get it right.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's great too, like when you're talking about, you know, practicing having faith, is as you're practicing, and mistakes are going to be made, right? We're all newbies to all of this stuff. And as you start practicing faith, of course you're going to slip up because you're brand new to it, or maybe it's the first time you've actually been aware that you're practicing faith. But when that faith slips, to just get curious, why did it slip?
Yeah.
Like, what belief system came in, or what experience came in that just totaled all of the faith that I've been striving towards, you know? I think sometimes the way we respond to life is, it's like we allow all of the smallest of things. And I understand sometimes the smallest of things, it's kind of like Princess and the Pea, where she has the pea under 15 mattresses and it's enough to just ruin her night of sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have experiences like that where it's like, this feels like it's a remarkably large boulder that I'm sleeping on. It's a remarkably hard thing that I'm going through. And in those moments, we can so easily get so disconnected from faith. But if we're not aware of, oh, when these things happen, this is when I lose faith, and we're not getting curious when we are losing faith to go, what was it that actually happened here? It can make it that much more difficult to actually practice moving with faith, because then we can actually start a belief system that if every time I have faith, something bad happens, so I'm better to not have any faith at all. You know? Because I know I've had glass ceilings, is what I'd call it, where it's like, as soon as I get so good at something, or life gets so good at something, something bad has to happen. So it's better if I just kind of keep things mediocre, instead of really having what I truly want, right? Which is my way of avoiding the pain that I don't want. But in my understanding of how this universe works and stuff, it's like, as you get closer to these things that your soul is wanting to express, everything that is not in alignment with what your soul's wanting to express, it needs to move away. And that's the painful part, where most people lose their faith.
I think it's not necessarily things will move away. You're going to gravitate towards those things no matter what, right? Like, it's not those things aren't going to move. You're moving a different way.
Yes.
Those are going to be where they're going to be.
Yes, and it feels like they're falling away from, or that you're losing. I know in the past couple of years, there's been a lot of ideas of things that I feel like I just lost, right? Like when my account got hacked, right? I lost everything. When my website shut down, I lost everything. The first Camino, lost everything. Relationships with people, just walking away, slamming door, like it's all of these endings, but it's so that I can become more of who I am.
I was just going to say, they're all opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So and again, I know I sound like I'm Mr. Positive. Trust me, people. I've had a mix.
You're human. Yep.
Yes. But there is, like, even in these moments when you lose, there's an opportunity to seek more, right?
Well, that's just it.
And it's a choice to look at it as a loss Okay,
Yes.
here's an opportunity. I don't have this. What else do I have? What else? And we really have anything, but it's what else is available to me? What else is coming into my awareness because this is moving out?
Yeah. And for myself, it was what part of me was so connected with the identity of this that I thought this made me whole, because there's a painful process that happens. You're grieving what was and needing then to step into something more, or to recognize something more about yourself. And so for myself, I guess I always ask not so much of what can I step into here, but more or less what was I identified with that I'm feeling as like this painful letting go of at this point in time. Or in what way did I think this thing made me whole? Right? Because there's a wholeness that we all have, that it's like, I'm still whole. If you and I were to end our relationship, I'm still whole. But also there's going to be an identity that I've carried, that you're my partner, you're my soulmate, you're my love of my life, that piece would have to disappear if we were to break away.
I mean, and that's what, in some of the spiritual literature, it says, you don't own anything, right? And it's best to have that mindset of, you are just here for this experience. Yeah. And every opportunity, every moment is just that, and it's experience, an opportunity for growth. There is no down, there is no it is just, okay, it's different, it's an alternative. And I think that's part of that, is just remembering that as your faith is, okay, this is this, okay, I'll turn it this way, I'll turn that way, I'll look at it from a different perspective. Because when you're stripped away and you have nothing, if you're in this blank canvas, this dark room by yourself, and you are just here, what do you have left? It's just all you have is you. And it's not even you that you have, because you can never have this. You have
this awareness,
which is your faith in whatever this experience is.
And it really is that simple, right? And it almost, like, when it's like all you have is you, that line in itself, for whatever reason, I hear that and it's like, well, that sounds so incredibly lonely. Do you know what I mean? Like, that sounds like, what's the purpose of life if all I have is me? And yet it's like there's such an absolute beautiful truth in that.
Well, and here's the thing, if all you have is you, and you are the creator of your world, and I'm creating you right now, and I'm creating everything that's going on here, all I need is this. Right? I've created all of this. So all I need is this.
Which then it also goes into, like, when you're the creator of your life, what are you investing that faith into? Are you investing your faith into something that you're like, I don't prefer this, and that's all you have faith in, is this thing you don't prefer, because you don't feel like you deserve something more, you don't feel worthy of something more? Or are you investing your faith and your energy and everything into what it is that you actually do want?
Well, and I agree. I wanted to bring this up because we had this conversation earlier this week about how you can actually create these non-preferable things that happen in your life. Because there's a lesson that you need to learn that you don't want to learn. There's something that you need, that the universe wants you to have. And you've been to the doorstep 2 or 3 times and you've said no, you've said no. And you will end up creating, and it may get more painful and more painful. But at some point, you're going to have to face that. You're going to have that experience, because this is what is necessary for this part of the journey.
Well, and what's so wild, or what's been wild for me to witness in how I've kind of created my own life, is I have created a lot of experiences in my life where I felt like my voice did not matter, right? Or that my voice was a problem and that people wanted me to be silenced, right? And so I keep creating these experiences where it's like, oh, they didn't like what I have to say, so now I need to shut up. Or they didn't like what I wrote, so now I need to take back my words. I need to apologize for expressing as I express. And it's only been in the past 2-ish years where I realized it was my response that needed to change to when people don't like what I have to say, I can still express it. Right? I can stand in my own authority and get as impeccable with my word, with my intention, and all of that. And they're going to respond how they respond. And I used to take their response as like a permission slip instead of going, no, I just need to speak my truth. And how they respond is just how they're going to respond. And I kept thinking every time it was showing up, like I haven't learned the lesson yet, which was true in the sense of just honor your own voice. Yeah. You don't need anyone else's permission to speak your truth. You don't need anyone else's permission to express as you want to express.
You kind of remove that victimization, right?
Yes.
Oh, now nope.
I'm just being me.
It's not happening to me.
Yeah.
That's your expression of whatever you think of this, but it's not this that's taking that in.
Yeah, and so on recognizing that when we're creating experiences, I kept creating that experience because I had this belief that I need their permission or I need their validation or I need their acceptance in order for me to speak my truth. And it's like, actually, no, that was where I got that lesson kind of mixed up, where it was more just embody what your truth is. Express. Don't be afraid.
Now it kind of makes me question, just sitting here thinking about this, do we create this victimization of ourselves? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also create the hero for ourselves.
By being so proud of ourselves.
To save the victim that we've created.
Yeah.
Now think about that. We've created this victimization of ourselves. I am the victim.
Yeah.
All of this bad stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And now, I'm having a good day. I've created the hero. I've erased. Now I'm not a victim anymore. I'm the hero for
myself.
All of those parts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's just busy work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to eliminate it, right? Yeah. Like if we were to just honor that I am a divine being, that's it. That's all I need to remember. I am a divine being.
Yeah. And remember, you have choice, right? You have a choice.
Yes.
In everything.
And you have a choice as to what you're going to make things mean.
Right.
Right.
That's what I mean.
I go back to Marianne Williamson's quote, we are not afraid of our own darkness. We're afraid of how powerful we can truly be. And as long as I allow myself to be dictated by another person's response, I don't have to stand in my power. I don't have to embody my light.
Yeah.
Right? If you're always waiting for someone else's permission or they're okay or for everything to clear out of your path so you can finally get to whatever destination you're trying to get to. It's like, if you want this, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to speak, then give yourself permission to speak. If you want to, I don't know why I keep seeing like a jumping over to the other side of the mountain, but if you want to get there, you have to climb over it.
Yeah.
And to not see it as like, oh, the universe is against me because I want to get to this thing and now I have to climb over this mountain. It's you made a choice that that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to get there?
Yeah, and I know you and I talked about this a number of years ago about, the sine waves, right? And I always use the sine waves as sine wave is an ambiguous curve that does this, right?
Okay,
like energy wave.
Sorry, I'm like looking at you going, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I always use that as like, this is your journey, right? So you're walking up this hill.
Yeah.
And you don't know, yes, it's hard and it's steep and whatever, you get to the top. It's like, oh, this is great, the view's great, but then you got to go back down. And then the journey back down is maybe not so great, but then you get to the bottom and it's like, okay, this is not what I wanted, so you start going back up again.
Yeah.
We have a choice in that. You can stay stuck.
Yeah.
Right? At the top or at the bottom.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get you further down the road.
Yeah.
And I the thing that I really think we don't pay enough attention is that journey. we talk about the tops and the bottoms, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about, I used the electrical metaphor, like when they're alternating current and we cut off the peaks and the bottoms, the base, to create DC current. We look at the top and bottom, DC current. We don't look at the in-between in that journey.
Yeah.
We don't pay enough attention to, hey, the mundane stuff, right? Oh, I went to work today.
Yeah.
Or over a course of your life, you went to work every day, but you remember from here to here. No, you remember I was home and I got here.
Yeah.
But all the stuff in between, we just kind of gray out.
Yeah.
And I think it is important that we remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of those things is where all of that busy work is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and even what we tell ourselves about all of those things in between, right? Like, if I was someone who, say wanted to get, I'm going to use Italy as an example right now, because I have a bucket list item of getting to the square in Rome to sing a song.
What song?
I don't even know what it's called. I'm not going to start singing it now. But so I could look at, I have to do the dishes today, and I don't want to do the dishes. What I want to do is be in Rome to sing this song or whatever. Or I could sing the song while I'm doing the dishes and picture myself there. Because the dishes need to get done, right? Each step needs to occur.
Yep.
And how much joy are you going to allow yourself to experience in the here and now as you're trying to get to that destination? And how much mumble grumble are you going to create? Which that mumble grumble to me actually creates bigger mountains for us to have to climb in order to get there, right? Because as long as we've got our happiness placed on a place or a destination or a relationship or a dream or whatever it is, and we go, I can't be happy until I get to this thing, then there is so much space in between where we're going to be miserable, right? And it's a choice. We're literally going, I can't be happy until this.
And where I was going with this is that, and I talked about that enigulous curve, sine wave getting tighter and tighter. So the more you practice and the more you have faith that you're going to get to the top and you're going to get to the bottom, you're going to remember all of that stuff, it's going to speed up, or it's going to feel like it speeds up. So your peaks and valleys don't become so much different. So you're taking just as much grace and as much delight in the good as in the not so good.
Yeah.
And they're happening so often that it just becomes all one wave.
Yeah.
Right? It is all not good or bad. It just is.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. I think it just is such a pertinent statement as well, right?
Yeah.
That we do have a tendency of personalizing everything instead of just taking it as it is, which I think also creates more blocks for people when it comes to their faith, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's like the faith kind of swings back and forth based on what is happening.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for us to hold on to that faith when life is happening and we're telling us life is happening against me. It's hard to hold on to faith in those moments instead of just, this is happening now. I have faith that I'm still going to get there, wherever that is.
It's only as hard as we want to make it, right? Because you can be in the worst scenario. You can choose a few things. You can be in that scenario and go, I have no hope. I'm doomed, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can stay in that.
Yeah.
You can be in that same situation and go, I'm going to surrender that. And I'm just here. Whatever happens I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Let's see what is the next adventure.
Yeah. It's so interesting too, because a lot of times on social media or throughout human history and stuff, we always find it so remarkable, the people that have chosen faith. The people, if you build it, they will come. We could look as far back as like Noah building the ark, and he's like, I've got this calling from God that I need to build this ark for 40 years in the middle of a drought, but I'm going to keep building this thing even though everyone's calling me crazy. Or there was an example down in the States. I've lost track of time. I don't remember when it happened, but essentially a young man had killed another young man, and in the courts, the mother asked if she could hug the young man who had killed her son. And she offered him complete forgiveness for what his actions had been, because she didn't want him to carry around the burden of killing another person or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, so remarkable and stuff. And it's like, this is how we need to be leading.
Yeah.
You know, and it the most difficult things, how do you forgive your child's murderer? You know, that's something that I can go, yes, that's the right choice. I get it. But faced with that,
Yeah.
that's a much harder choice to make.
Well, that's the test, right? It is when you're faced with it.
Yeah.
Will you stick with your faith?
Yes.
Or will you default back to whatever pattern you were in before?
And I guarantee that there was probably a lot of people around her going, no, forgiveness is not the answer here. Do you know what I mean? Which is wild.
Well, how many people on your journey have told you, no, this isn't the right answer?
Oh,
on whatever it is, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, are you sure this? No, there's something, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And you could have 1,000 people tell you you're making the wrong decision, and your light is going to guide you where you need to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, there's no big enough when that pull is there. It is just, this is, and that's faith, right? That it's pulling you towards whatever that which needs to be.
Yeah. And I guess it is really about learning to trust that inner knowing, and learning to
faith is trusting that piece, that there's something guiding you.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff that's happening is happening, and it's all happening for purpose, and it's all interconnected, and it's all, but it's not ever bad. It's not as bad as it seems, and as bad as things can be, or we've made them to be. It is just a lesson. It just is an experience. It's part of the journey. It's part of your forming. And you think about these, you mentioned, you know, like some of the greatest people, minds, the things that people have been through. How did you get through this? Mm-hmm. You know, people have been through some pretty horrific things. Yeah. And a lot of it does come down to their faith. I just believed. Yeah. And I may not use faith, but I believed that I could do it. Yeah. How were you able? I just knew I could do it.
Well, I think asking how questions is such like an ego-based, right? Like, give me a step-by-step.
So I can copy what you've done.
Yes, where it's like, the faith is an inner part of us. Yeah. There's no how-to, right? Because you're going to run up against everything that says, just don't.
There is a how-to. Stop everything else.
Oh, fair enough.
That is your how-to.
Yeah. Fair enough. But no, I know that I've asked mentors and stuff in the past, when you're facing big issues and big relationship dynamics and stuff like that, like, how do I maintain my peace, or how can I get through this, or watching them go through something that's just horrific, and yet they're having this faith, and it's almost like this superpower that it's like, how do you embody that when all of this is going on? Like, and again, it is just a very ego kind of way of looking at it, because it's essentially me going, if this was happening to me, I would self-destruct. So how can you still hold on to this faith? Right? And as humans, we ask each other this every single time someone overcomes something magnificent. We're like, how did they do it? So surprised. But again, it's the ego that's asking these questions, because this inner part of us, I feel like it knows. It recognizes it, which is why we call it inspirational.
And that's kind of what I'm saying about blocking all of this out, is just, it is nothing else. It is just this. It is just, I'm not worried about, whether the war is going on, whether this is going on downstairs. I'm just here in here. And I'm still participating, still doing, going to work. But my mindset is that all of this it matters to a certain degree. Yeah. But right now, I can't control what ifs, right? I can't control everybody and everything, but what I can control is not controlling anything. Yeah. Yeah. And being okay with that. I don't control anything, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I surrender it all. Yeah. And when you're saying, you can't control the what ifs and whatnot, one of the things that I've done for myself when it comes to like my what ifs, because I think as humans we do have those scenarios that come up. But training my brain to focus on what if for possibilities, right? Of things that are more aligned with what it is that I actually want. So we could go, oh my God, what if it all goes to hell? Yep, that is a possibility. But also, what if it all goes to heaven? What if it all works out? What would that even look like, right? And just even asking those two different kind of questions on the different ends of the spectrum, there's one that feels very heavy and I can't figure this out. And there's one that actually opens my mind to go, oh, there's got to be a pathway there. And so if you're someone who gets trapped in what if scenarios or you worry a lot, I think asking yourself what if, and then fill in the blank with the best possible scenarios to get your mind to start focusing on, right, that is possible too. Because we get so sucked into all of the worst things, right? We're trying to survive. So we're like, oh, what if I die?
Yeah.
Or what if you don't?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. And just to build a little bit off of that, because I've done that. I've done, oh yeah, well, what if this is the best thing in the world, and what if this is the worst thing?
Yeah.
And more I'm drawn to this, what if I just accept whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's not good or bad.
Yep.
It just is what it is, and take it in stride, right? It's like, okay, if the vehicle breaks down, well, okay, what comes out of that? Oh, possibly a new vehicle. Okay, what if, like,
Yeah.
I tried not to look at it like there is a good and bad. It just is a thing
Yeah.
that needs a next step.
I've
or
definitely-
it's going to point me to the next
Yeah.
path.
That there's a solution for everything.
Well, and not that there ever needs to be a solution for everything or anything. It just, this is the next step. So the vehicle breaks down. Well, you need a vehicle, or you may not need a vehicle, or you may not choose to have a vehicle. Depends on a whole whack load of things.
Yeah.
But it's going to, this is inner light is going to guide you to that next step.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it's neither good or bad. It just is the next
Well,
step.
isn't it interesting that even the word solution, you've seen it as being a positive thing, right? When you're going, but it's just a next step. But every next step is a solution to the last step's problem.
Yes.
Right. And again, there's no good or bad. But if I've done this with the vehicle breaking down before, where it's like, okay, the vehicle broke down. It is what it is. Do I have a mechanic? Yes. Do I have money in the bank to pay for the mechanic? Yes. Is it an inconvenience that I'd have no vehicle for 2 days for the vehicle to get fixed? Yes. Can I survive that 2 days without a vehicle? Yes. So is there anything for me to be upset about right now? No. It is, these are all just facts
And
that have all lined up.
Yeah, and like you said, there's little opportunities. Can I get healthier? Can I save money? Can I you're going to be led to these things.
Yeah.
And it's really what we put on it, right? Is whether it is a positive or negative. You don't have to look at it either. It's a choice.
Yeah.
To look at it on one side of that fence or the other.
Yeah, it just is what it is. And I understand, like, for some people, you know, when a vehicle breaks down, maybe they don't have the money necessary to get the vehicle into the shop. And maybe by not having a vehicle, they now can't get to their workplace. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I understand that.
But I know these things feel like they might be the end of the world, but it's like, there's another side to that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we can go through the worst things, but there's people that have gone through worse. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and I don't ever want anyone to negate their own experience either, because there's other people who have gone through worse.
I want people to just take their experience
as it is.
As an experience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Find the beauty in the experience.
Yeah.
Try to.
Yeah.
I know that they're not all beautiful. Sometimes they feel rigid and they don't feel great, but still feel that experience and learn and take that experience and go, okay, what is it? Go deeper with that experience.
Yeah.
But just see it as that, not good, not bad. It's an experience. Yeah, I didn't want this, or I don't like this, but I went through it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't it be great if we could just, like, show everybody these are my experiences. You know, this is what I've collected along the way. Like a child that has spent a day out in the forest and they open their bag and they've got all the little treasures that they found to be like, this is what I experienced in the forest today, but this is what I experienced in life, you know, and how beautiful is that?
Yeah, just to have that cup and fill up all those little experiences and
yeah. And to be proud, I think, of the experiences too.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think shame is a very big driving factor for a lot of people in what they want to express or show people, like, look at me, I've experienced this, or, oh, I've never experienced that before. Like, that's a big no, we don't talk about that, you know? But when you're moving with faith, you start to see that even the most shameful experiences, or what you've been told need to be a shameful experience, are also a part of this picture that's made you whole, and that God placed you in your experience for whatever reason. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
You know, and to just have that faith that somewhere along the way, there's going to be an opportunity to share that experience with someone else and perhaps lift them up out of that.
Yeah, shame is it's a very big ego piece, right? Like when you think of that whole dynamic, and I'm not saying one way or the other, like just in shame, it is built off of a lot of the ego.
Absolutely.
The person that experiences shame and the person that is being the shamer.
Yeah.
They're all very big, like, ego pieces of I'm better or better than or less than or whatever the case.
It creates a whole hierarchy of humans that goes, you're worthy, you're not, you're deserving, you're not. Like, and it goes
ownership
across.
on an experience of what it should or shouldn't look like, when it's like, who are you to say what it should look like?
Who are any of us to say what it should look like? And why can't we just be excited when we've got someone who has a different experience than what we've had, to just go, and what was that like? Like, tell me, because if I can hear from you what your experience was, maybe I don't actually have to experience, because I'm just excited for your experience and I'm celebrating your experience, you know? Yeah. But I think I know we've done conversations around shame, but I would love to explore it that much more. I think it's such an important topic in our human existence to just keep talking about.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think there is plenty there to talk about when it comes to.
Yeah, and even to just bring it back to faith, because we always try and find a word of the week that we're going to focus on. But when it comes to faith and shame, I think sometimes too we can have shame that our faith is not working the way we thought
then
our
you don't have faith
should work.
You know what I mean? Like you're saying the words, but you're not feeling the feels.
That's a potential, but also I've felt the feels before. I've had faith, and I've had things that have happened that I just did not expect to happen, and then have been humiliated by my own making. Nobody else made me feel humiliated, but was humiliated because my faith did not
save the day.
Yeah. Like
so who created that?
I created it. I created a block to my faith. I can
so
see
you
it
didn't
all.
Really, it wasn't really your faith.
It wasn't my faith, but I seen it as my faith was not good enough. And this is why this has happened. And now I'm ashamed because my faith was not good enough and my faith should have been better. Like it was a whole creation thing, a force field, a tornado of destruction. And I believed in it. Like I believed in it so fucking hard. I believed in the destruction of the faith more than I ever believed in the faith. Right? Yeah. Which I can only say now in hindsight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, at the time I didn't realize or recognize what was actually happening. I truly believed that I was somehow eternally fucked, for a lack of a better word, but eternally fucked in what my idea of faith was. And that I was somehow not having faith in the way that I was supposed to have faith. Now, the funny thing is I recognize that had I had actual faith, when this circumstance happened, nothing else.
You would have seen through all of
I would have seen
of it,
through
right?
all of it, yes. But I do believe I needed to go through that experience so I could talk about it now and go, and this is what it can look like, guys. Fun times in the human mind.
Yeah, we have to be the experiencer. We absolutely have to, right? To, again, evolve. You have to go through these things to get to these places, to continue to grow. And yes, although they seem heavy, they are necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe that they only feel heavy because we're in resistance to it.
Oh,
right? Or we're feeling something that we've been suppressing for so long, and then it all just comes
we're
up.
resistance to it because it's different, or it's not the norm. It's not that, we talk about how things are so mundane, but yet we want excitement, but not that excitement. And it's just like,
Isn't that so true?
well, which way do you want it? You can't have it this way or that way.
I'm tired of the same thing every day, and then something different happens. Why is this happening? Yeah. We're such a dramatic folk here on Earth. But anyways, so thank you everybody for joining us here again for another episode of the Sacred Exchange. As always, we welcome your questions, your comments, your feedback. Don't forget.
Thumbs up.
Yep, thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check us out on Spotify so you can listen to us on the go. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a great one.
Take care, folks.
Bye.
Bye.